Welcome back to my 5-star book reviews. And as I was getting ready for this one, I was thinking, why do we constantly read Danielle Steele books? Why have I read her books since the 1980s? Why? Well, we're going to talk about this book, her brand new one called Lost and Found. And if I was wondering why, like today when I finished it, I'm like, I know why. Because we love her writing. Because no one can tell a story like she does in such few words. It's incredible. I am every time I read one of her books, I am more shocked by what a great writer she is. Like I can be even more shocked, but every time I finish one, I'm like, wow, what a great writer. And I'm not the only one because she has written a lot of books and she has a fan club like no other. Now, this book is not on the New York Times bestseller list yet. It came out June 25th. 288 pages, women's fiction. It is everything you expect it to be. And I find it absolutely shocking that I read comments on Amazon and people saying, it's exactly like I thought it was going to be. It's a Danielle Steele book. It was so predictable. Okay, I don't know about predictable, but yes, her books are exactly what we want. That's why she writes them. That's why she has a fan club, because we know that what we are getting, and what we are getting are always, does that make sense? What we get is always a beautiful story. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this story. Main character, Madison Allen. She has 3 children. She's in her late 50s. I am 54, but I'm going to be 55 this year. So I'm getting there, right? She's like 58. And pretty early on, okay, in the first chapter, she goes looking through some old pictures and she breaks her ankle. And her oldest daughter comes over to like yell at her about how dare you be up on a ladder, soon you're going to be in a nursing home because we can't trust you being alone. And she's alone, right? And I was thinking about, okay, my children's ages, I have 6 children, are 32 to 16. So I still have 2 boys at home, and but I do have older children, and the emotions that she goes through with her older children is my life. Okay, like it is my life. We raise our children to become adults, to go on, to have families, right? But we're so used to having them in our life every day. It is so hard to break up with our kids, okay? Hard. And I know I'm not alone because I know all you people on Facebook that are friends with me, and we are all going through the same thing. I mean, I still have, teenagers at home, but it's coming to an end. Okay. And I've already been through the part with the older children, and it's really difficult. And you think about your children every single day, but I'm not quite sure that they think about us every single day, and maybe they do, but I've gone through those times when I haven't talked to my children, or I think about them, but I'm like, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to bother them. And that's what she's going through. She's so proud of her children and what they've experienced and what they've become as adults, but they've kind of forgotten about her. And she's like okay with it. I mean, she's a photographer. She moved on, right? But she starts looking at these old photographs and she's thinking, maybe I made some mistakes. We pick our children. I have picked my children over other aspects of my life so many times, right? And it's really interesting because you're not told what happens after that. Like, okay, so then they grow up and then they move on. And it happens. I'm here to tell you, right? So let's just start with the first sentence of the book. Madison Allen lives in an old brick firehouse in the West Village in downtown New York, a few blocks east of the Hudson River. The firehouse was 100 years old. And it's a really cool part of this story, by the way. But then her last sentence in the first chapter, and she burst into tears as she lay there alone. And right away, I'm like, oh my gosh, Danielle, you've done it again. You've pulled me into this story. I want to know what happens to Madison. I want to know if she goes through her life and so what happens is, so she breaks her ankle, right? Her daughter comes over, yells at her, right? Been there, done that. Let's just say that. And, like, how dare you? How you've made mistakes in your life. And she's like, have I made mistakes? I don't know. So she decides she's going to go on a cross country trip by herself and revisit some old friends and boyfriends and see, like, did she make mistakes? Are there mistakes in her life that maybe she can undo, right? And we kind of all been there too, right? All of us have been there. So why should you read this book? You should read it because it's a Danielle Steele book, because it's an amazing story, because it's a quick read. This is a weekend read. So if you're going to the beach this weekend, get the book. By the time you start it on Saturday morning, you'll be done with it by Sunday. She tells such rich stories, like multi-layered. I'm trying to find the right word. Like, there's not just a linear story going on here. There's so many things. And she taps into women my age. People ask me all the time, I'm younger. Should I read a Danielle Steele book? You know what? Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning of her books and go through them, right? I feel like I grew up with Danielle Steele. I really have. She always hits me at that part of my life. So, not that you can't read this one, because you can, but everybody says, well, is it for guys? Is it for everybody? Is it for every age? I don't know. This book really hit me. But you know what? There are other characters in this book that maybe you'll see yourself in. I identify with Maddie, but maybe you're the daughter that's yelling at your mom, right? Don't yell at your mom. It's not nice. So anyway, another one, Danielle, another one. I love you. I hope to meet you one day. Call me. Okay. I don't think it's going to happen because you're a little busy writing books, because guys, I think this is the third or fourth book this year and we are in July. Absolutely the third. I think she came out with a Christmas one. So Silent Night. So, fourth book in 6 months. Crazy. And every single one of them is amazing. So please hit like if you like my book reviews. Please let me know if you got this book, if you're going to get this book, if you're going to read it. And, I love hearing from you guys. So have an amazing day.